Year 2020, month 12. This is an audio-only video that is thoughts on the 32-bit space. In the history of computers and software, we've gone through these bit eras, 8-bit, 16-bit. Most people around in the 80s were familiar with those. There was a 24-bit kind of thing off to the side. Then we moved to 32-bit, and most of us have lived mostly through that space. A lot of us worked in that space, made a lot of stuff in that space. We had a lot of fun in that 32-bit space. Now here at the end of 2020, we are able to see our transition to the 64-bit space, which is going to take a while to fill up in terms of memory. 32 bits maximum memory space was 4 gigabytes. This has caused me to pause and reflect and think about how we need to track very closely the end of the 32-bit space, where the applications are left that really only require 4 gigabytes. A lot of our phones are 64-bit processors now. I was looking today, even the Raspberry Pi is a 64-bit processor. It can support up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So that space, that 32-bit space, I think pretty soon we're going to have to start thinking about it in the same way we think about the 16-bit space and the 8-bit space. We can, the corporate operating system support, such as Windows 10, is going to dilute. And pretty soon, that 32-bit space, which is the space that Linux was born in, is going to be catered to mostly by these independent Linux distributions, most likely, the old computer category on DistroWatch. And that'll be an interesting space. I think we should try to get creative and figure out what is unique about that 32-bit space. Now that we know it well, we know its limits, its borders, if you will. What can we do under those constraints? It might be, hobbyist and artistic at first, but perhaps there is some space, some vertical thinking of withered technology, as Gunpei Yokoi would have said. In fact, I'm not sure if the Nintendo Switch, is a computer that is 32-bit a 32-bit processor. I know it only has 4 gigabytes of RAM, though. So it's kind of simulating it in that way. Or similarly restricted. A lot of stuff, sadly, in the GNU library still needs to be retrofitted for the 64-bit stuff. So that is just something to look for, is anytime you see this old 32-bit machine maxed out at 4 gigabytes, it's kind of a precious special thing. And that is definitely where you want to see what you can do with it. I think we need to get creative about the 32-bit space now that we can really see the end of it. For security reasons, I would say that we need to pretty much stay offline with these devices. That's where I'm kind of thinking maybe like a laptop calculator hybrid. Like TI kind of has these color calculators now. They have color screens and stuff. That's a little bit closer where I'm thinking maybe this space could be. So let's just start tracking it, and let's just be cognizant when we are making a ship inside a glass bottle with those old 4 gigabyte maximum machines. Thank you.